Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Tuesday, the 20th of December 2022. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, it's a bad day on the market. The S&P ASX 200 hit an intraday low of 7,020 points. Finished a touch higher at 7,024 points, but it was down 1.5% for the day. Now, sentiment was hit by a move from the Central Bank of Japan that suggests that economy is thinking about lifting interest rates. That hasn't done that for many, many years, and it spooked markets. Wesfarmers fell 3% and was among the worst of the large caps. Aristocrat Leisure fell 4.5%. Newcrest and South32 both tumbled, but WiseTech Global was the worst of the big stocks, finishing the day down 6%. BHP, Fortescue, Rio Tinto, Toll Road Group, Transurban, and industrial property giant Goodman Group, they were all sold down as well. The banks provided some comfort, with National Australia Bank, Westpac, ANZ and Suncorp all ending higher. Best on the day were Steadfast Group, the insurer, and AUB Group, both up around 2%. Worst was John Lyng Group. More on that shortly. Story number 2, online property group Domain has reported a tough December quarter as the Reserve Bank's rate hikes continue to weigh on the property market. New listings fell 16% in October and 22% in November. Domain said in a market update today that following 4% growth in the September quarter, inner city Sydney and Melbourne experienced particular weakness, with November listings down 38% and 32% respectively. Domain said December was experiencing an earlier than usual seasonal decline as agents and vendors defer listings into next year. Month-to-date listings were down around 51% in Sydney and 37% in Melbourne. Ouch. Domain share price ended the day down 9%. Story number 3, consumer confidence fell slightly last week, meaning it finishes the year well below the neutral level of 100, according to the ANZ Roy Morgan Australian Consumer Confidence Survey. The slight fall in the index was a result of the measure of how economic conditions next year will be. That dropped, dragging the whole index lower. ANZ senior economist Catherine Birch said the persistent weakness in sentiment now appears to be weighing on household spending. She added that ANZ observed data suggests spending lost momentum early in the holiday season, which could signal the beginning of a cyclical downturn. Story number 4, John Lyng Group Executive Director and Chief Operating Officer Lindsay Barber has sold 4 million shares in the Property Services Group. That's about 31% of his stake. People didn't like it. It sent the share price down 12%. John Lyng said the sale was undertaken to diversify Mr. Barber's personal asset portfolio, and he remains committed to the role. But investors don't like seeing senior managers selling. It just looks like they're getting out when the going's good. A couple of months ago, Chief Executive Scott Didier sold 4 million shares, and investors didn't like that either. John Lyng's shares have fallen more than 20% this year, but are up around 35% over the past 6 months. And story number 5, a big one. The Congressional Committee probing last year's violent attack on the US Capitol has voted to recommend that the US Department of Justice pursue criminal charges against former President Donald Trump for his role in the failed insurrection. During its final public hearing yesterday, the bipartisan 9-member panel unanimously said Trump should be prosecuted for assisting the insurrection, obstructing an official government proceeding, conspiring to defraud the US, and knowingly making false statements to authorities. According to the Financial Times, the congressional panel's final proceedings and recommendations are likely to deepen Trump's legal woes as he mounts a new bid for the White House. The Justice Department, where Special Counsel Jack Smith has taken over the federal investigations of the former president, will make the final decision on whether to indict him. That's it for Tuesday, the 20th of December, 2022. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.